So I did graduation in hospitality, and after that I worked with a airline company. I was laid off after 8 months during COVID-19. It would be very tough for you to get a job in IT and coding and everything you have never done in past. Like every single person used to ask me the same question, like would you be fit in my organization? Because I sent my resume to more than 750 companies and I hardly got call from 5 to 6 companies only.
Hello, data lovers. So, again, I am back with a super inspirational podcast for all the aspiring data engineers. And this podcast is all about a true hustler who did his graduation from the hotel management. Yes, you heard it right. His background is actually from the hotel management. And after that, he was working in an airline for a couple of years. And during the COVID time, that airline laid him off multiple times. And those heartbreaking moments actually changed everything for him. And now he is working as a data engineer. It definitely sounds super motivating, but this journey was not very straightforward. He had to upskill himself. He had to explore the big data. He tried to apply in more than 500 companies. Unfortunately, nothing worked out, but there was one company which hired him. The actual question is, how did he achieve this? And to know this part in more details, you need to watch this podcast till the very end. And this podcast is highly recommended for all aspiring data professionals and even especially those folks who are coming from totally different background and seeking for the motivation. And if you feel motivated, then definitely share this video with others as well. And as always, don't forget to hit the like button. Alright, so thank you so much, Sarthak, for joining me in this podcast. And I'm really excited for this one because I haven't covered this kind of story as of now on my channel, that too related for the data engineering. So it would be really great if you can give a short introduction to our audience and anything you want to highlight about your past professional or educational background.
So first of all, thank you Shashank for having me here. My name is Sarthak Gupta, and I did my graduation in hospitality and hotel management. That's a BSc in hospitality and hotel management. And after that I worked for an airline company for around 1.5 years. And after that, currently I'm working as a data engineer in latent view analytics.
You completed your bachelor's in hotel management, and after that you worked on an associate role in an airlines, and finally you have started working as a data engineer. So if you were interested to work in the corporate sector, then how and why hotel management degree? I mean, that's a straightforward question. At the end, if your end goal was to work in the corporate sector, IT firms, or as an engineer, then what was the need of going for the hotel management kind of degrees and working in airlines?
So I'll take you to my past days. It's a different story. So during my higher secondary, I did my higher secondary with biology. So at that time I took biology, and from my relatives and my friends and family wanted me to do medical, but I was not interested in that. So apart from medical, I tried to figure out in which field I'm good apart from that. So I got to I realized that I am good in hospitality. So I did graduation in hospitality, and after that I worked with a airline company. So everything was going well there, and I learned a lot over there. At the same time, the hierarchy and growth path in hospitality industry, it is very slow as comparison to other industries in India. And especially hospitality's hierarchy is very slow in India if you compare to abroad or any other country. So after working 1.5 years, I realized this is not the right place to work for a long time. And when I was working for that airline company, I was laid off after 8 months during COVID-19.
Oh.
And then I didn't work for 4 or 5 months, and in that time I figured out what I can do. So when I asked few of my relatives, what can I do this data science course, who are already working in this IT industry. So they suggested me you are from hospitality industry, so you should go for an MBA, because it would be very tough for you to get a job in IT and coding and everything you have never done in past.
Correct.
So after doing a lot of research, I took a online data science course, and after that I did that course for 8 9 months. and then I started applying for data science jobs.
Hats off means you didn't give up or you were just not cribbing about those things which has happened. You just tried to upskill yourself. So I will stop you here for a few seconds and will ask you a question. If you are looking for a better paying job in IT sector, that too with a different career streak. If yes, then Salesforce can be the right choice for you, and here is why. It is predicted that Salesforce is set to create 9.3 million jobs globally and 1.3 million jobs in India by 2026. Business revenue, if you ask, it is $1.6 trillion. So I would highly recommend this platform SaaS Guru and their Salesforce Job Guaranteed Bootcamp to get job ready in the domain of Salesforce in just few weeks. So what are the actual benefits for you in this program? You will get placed with average salary of up to 8 lakhs per annum. You will get 3x Salesforce certified and job ready in just few weeks. People are getting average salary hike of 112%. You will get the access to 30 plus employer partners across the globe. You can get a chance to work in India or anywhere in the world. Learn and get certified on the go. The only Salesforce training company with an app. So download it right now. Salesforce is definitely booming in the market. So what are you waiting for? Check the link in the description below and join the bootcamp right now. Sarthak, you have a motivational story, inspiring story for sure. But what do you think? What was the crucial turning point in your career path and wherever you have landed as of now? So what was that crucial turning point in your career?
I feel so like when I was laid off from my previous organization, I was at my home for like 4-5 months. I did research for this data science and I wanted to do that. And fortunately, I was called back from my organization after like 4-5 months. So I worked there till the second wave of COVID came in India in May 2021.
Okay.
So when the second wave came to India, like my organization again started putting people on hold because of less work. So at that moment, I realized that this is not the right place to work because this industry will again shut down if any like unprecedented disaster comes in future.
Right.
So then I tried to did some research and think about upscaling myself. So then I again asked my relatives and friends. They suggested like this is not the right thing. But somehow I took this decision because I wanted to do this. I was good in computer science. Like I wanted to do something in computer science field. And after doing a lot of research, I came to a decision of this data science. And I thought like let's give a try. You know, if I get passed, then it's good, and if I fail, then I'll find for an alternative.
Okay, I see.
Then we'll go for that traditional MBA will do that. In like first layoff, I get like 3-4 months. So in that time, I tried to figure out, but at that time, all the organization who were providing this data science course was offline.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't want to go because of COVID.
COVID, yeah.
So when like the second wave came, I realized that this is not the right place, and then I resigned from my organization.
Like you were completely from a non-tech, non-CS background, right? The degree you had, no relationship with coding, etc. You also admitted that part. So how did you acquire the right skill sets to become a data engineer? And it would be really great if you can guide about those mandatory skill set step by step so that our audience can also follow that same path. And maybe in a one liner you can explain this thing that somehow you researched about data science but you landed into data engineering. Means how did it happen?
So I started my journey with Python. I started learning Python, and then I moved to SQL part. And after that, then I learned that Excel and any dashboard. I was told from my institute. So I completed Tableau part.
Okay.
And then I studied a little bit about machine learning and statistics. So like I was little weak in mathematics, so statistics helped me to learn machine learning better. So I studied statistics. After that, I did machine learning. And when I was applying for job, I was ready to get any job which is in IT industry. So it can be a Python developer, it can be a data analyst, and it can be a data engineer. So I
Oh.
upskilled myself at that level so that I cannot miss any opportunity. If I get an opportunity for data engineer, I'll get it. If I get an opportunity for data science, I'll get it. I didn't want to miss any opportunity at that time. So I started learning AWS through YouTube, and I also learned little bit of Spark.
Maybe a follow-up question would be, what was the most challenging skill set for you to acquire, right? Where you felt little bit uncomfortable, like, dude, this skill is something, right? I'm not up to that mark, or this is scaring me.
So if I talk about Python in initial days, so when I started learning Python, I was totally perplexed. I was not able to understand what is list, what is tuple, dictionary, what's the use of it. In future, I was just following the lectures and making notes. I was not able to implement it.
Okay.
So after initial 1 or 2 months was very tough for me. I was thinking whether this is the right decision or not. Would I be able to do it or not? Because I was not able to understand what will I do with these skills. What's the use of tuple in future, or list, dictionary. So, but I feel with time, when I continued the process, I went to that numpy pandas part, and at that moment I realized what's the use of these previous things which I learned.
Okay.
And then I got to know that these are the basics of Python, which are required to do analysis of any data set, or to perform any query, or if you want to write any code. These are the basic things which you have to learn. And then I
Okay.
think I didn't focus on SQL too much. During my initial days, I was totally focused on Python. So when it came to get a job, in interviews, they were only asking most of the questions from SQL.
Yep.
So I start then just before 1 month ago of my interview, I started focusing on SQL part. That was also challenging because I was able to write that query select asterisk from this table and that table, but I was not able to understand what to do with that.
Right.
The data set is coming from which place was the data set, what would be the use of it. I was just writing the code from copying from my notes. So these were the tough thing for me.
Got it.
But I feel with time I was able to understand.
So, what kind of challenge did you face while applying for the jobs? And why I'm asking this question, because your educational background was different, means completely no experience in IT, job, or data science profiles. Why did companies shortlist your resume even if you had a different educational background? How did you convince them that you can perform really good in data engineering, you can add some value in their company?
Okay, so sir, to answer this question, I'll say I made few projects which I mentioned in my resume during my data science journey from my institution. So I think those projects really helped me to get my resume selected in any organization.
Okay.
And when it came to the interview part, every single person used to ask me the same question, would you be fit in my organization? You did something else, and now you are doing something else. So it was really difficult to because I sent my resume to more than 750 companies, and I hardly got call from 5 to 6 companies only.
My God.
And there are two good companies of India. They called me, they asked me to appear in their test. I appeared in their test, and I feel that I cleared that test because I did everything right in that test. And after that test, they called me and they said we are putting you on hold, Sarthak, as we have no vacancies for fresher. So I spent 2-3 months by listening this holding part only from
Oh.
need of organizations. And being a fresher, it was very difficult because I used to apply, but I was not able to get any revert from any institution. But I feel if you are applying daily on continuous basis, someday you'll get it. So I also got 2-3 good calls, and one call was converted.
So I think the project part you mentioned was something which helped you to convince the organization that you can perform. You actually showcased your skill sets.
And I feel so there are few companies who really want to focus on skills, not on your education. Even in my few interviews, I cleared all the all their what do we say, that rounds, 1, 2, and 3. I cleared all the rounds, and when it came to like final round, that was from the general manager or HR, they just rejected me just because of my past education. They said to me that you did your graduation in hospitality, you worked for customer service, now you are in analytics. But I went to that round like after clearing all those like technical and problem solving skills round, but they didn't release my offer letter. Like they asked me like how can you, like how soon you can join, but they did not release my offer letter. And I feel just because of my past experience.
So let's say if someone is coming from the background like you, then what will be the expectation from the candidate in the interviews, and what kind of questions will be asked in the interviews? So here you can definitely put your experience, what you face in the interviews, because if somebody has a good expertise in the analytics, right, maybe it's easy for him and her to crack the interviews and just satisfy all the requirements. But what if someone is coming from a background like you?
I feel if someone is coming like from a non-tech background or a background like me, they should focus on the skills first. Like either they can take a course from a certain institute, or they can do it from YouTube as well. So like they should focus on the Python part, then SQL part, and I'll say SQL is must. Even if you are not good in Python, you should be good in SQL. First, be good in the skills, in these skills like Python, SQL, and then learn any dashboarding platform like Tableau, Power BI, or it can be like Google Data Studio. Learn anything, and even on the like basis of Python, SQL, and dashboard, you can apply for the job of data analyst. Like I studied for like 8 9 months because I didn't want to miss any opportunity. I also studied machine learning and statistics and a lot of things. But people who really like who want to get into the field of data analyst as soon as possible, they can focus on SQL, Excel, Python, and any Tableau or Power BI. And if they are good into these four skills, they can get job. And I feel like communication skills are also required in this journey, because I felt I got selected because I was good in all these skills. Like I was not the master of any like a particular one skill, but I was good in all these skills. Like coding part is also good, mathematics, machine learning, and basic understandings of problems, and any problem from the market and or a case study. I was able to solve all the things. I've also seen like few people who are very good in technical things, but they lack in communication or any problem solving skills, which is related to like a real time experience. Like made of my friends who did not get job just because of they are good in one skill but not in other. So you should be like a jack of all trade. You should be good in all these skills, not the master, but you should know everything.
Thanks for sharing this one, Sarthak, and it's really helpful. So I have just one last question for you, and it is obviously related to the compensation and salary. So how much salary are you getting as a fresher in the data engineering domain? Also, what is your goal for next 5 years, man? What are you planning?
So I'll start with your first question. Like if I talk about my previous organization, it was around 100% hike. Yeah, from that to here. Even after like when I resigned after like few months, they tried to like they called me and like that I get back to them, and they were offering like 50 60% hike. But that was not the role of data science. So I realized people value when you resign from their organization. I feel this.
On an average, if you can share the number, right? If somebody is
On an
having,
average, anyone can get like from 7 to 9 LPA being a fresher. Easily they can get 7 to 9.
yep, I
It
think that's a
totally
good
depends.
start. Yeah.
Right, yeah, and totally depends on the time. Like I've seen few people with the right skills, they get like 5.5, but few people got 9 with the same skills. It's just all about the time. They applied in July and someone applied in November when the right vacancy comes. So with the right skills, I've seen like average anyone can earn around 8 to 9.
How about your 5 years plan?
Like as of now, I just try to learn things, make me better in the field of data engineer. Like I don't set any goals like for 5 years or like I want to be this or that. I just try to upskill myself on daily basis. I feel like today I have to spend 1 hour in my like learning new things, or like 2 hours, or weekly am I growing or not, or monthly. And I feel like if you work hard or if you are consistent in something, you will definitely grow.
Right.
Maybe better than the threshold part which you mentioned, like that you would be at a certain level at 5 years, or after 5 years. I think you can be at the better position.
Maybe your focus mainly on the short-term goals rather than making plans for next
Yeah,
5 years.
right. Because sometimes things don't work out the way you want.
Yeah, because life is pretty much uncertain. We have seen this in the COVID time.
Right.
We are also seeing it in this recession time, right? Recession is going on. So yeah, it happens. Maybe the right skill setup, skilling is the best thing we can do. So this is really great, Sarthak. I must say your journey even inspired me a lot, and it will inspire thousands of other people who are watching this podcast and want to kickstart their career in the data engineering, data science, analyst, whatever you want to become. But these people like Sarthak are the true example for the consistent efforts, never give up attitude, right? Never lose hopes, and just put your 1000 efforts and everything is achievable. If he can do it, you guys can also do it. So thank you so much, Sarthak, for joining me and sharing your wonderful experience with me, with the audience, and I'm pretty sure they would have enjoyed it.
Thank you so much, Shank, for having me here once again.
So that's what I had in this podcast. I'm pretty sure you would have enjoyed everything. This was a true hustle, I must say. And if you think this podcast even motivated you 1%, then hit the like button, share it with others, and also let me know in the comment section your key takeaways from this podcast. I would be waiting for your comments. So I will see you guys in the next week with another amazing podcast. Till then, just keep exploring data.